This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Hello guys, welcome back to another video. My name is ChiefDog74 and let's get into this one. So today guys, a couple of things have happened since the last episode. I've now put in the character updates. So now the where is it? Driver market. So that's now been updated. I knew that there was an email, but I forgot to accept it into my own career mode. But I now have, so all of the drivers should be at their levels that they're supposed to be. And we've got a couple of things to do. We've obviously got this sponsor to add. We've got a couple of R&D bits to do as well, I believe. And we're going to be saving more money for, again, getting a new driver. I'm hoping to get one of these kind of people, so the ones that are in the 6 million mark, which is why we've got 6.9 million now at the moment, but we should be getting more, especially with our new sponsor, which we're gonna go ahead and select now. So we'll have a look at a few of these. I really like this qualified P10 or better one, because that's kind of the aim that I always have. So we're gonna confirm that A plus F then, and let's just add it to the car here. So sponsor decals, and do I not have a sponsor there? Huh. Okay, well, how does A plus F look there? Yeah, that's pretty good. That can stay there, that can stay there. That again can stay. And we should probably put this one here as well. So actually, how does A plus F look on a... yeah, no, I prefer Equionics there. Yeah, I think that should do. So here's the new car then. We've got it on the front, what do you call it? The front, I suppose the front wing chassis bit there, and as well on the rear wing as well, on the sides there. So I'd say that's a pretty good signing. We're not going to be getting any sponsors for a while now though, because of course the next one's at Team Acclaim level 20, which takes a long time. But yeah, let's go on ahead into this video then. So activities wise, sponsor event I suppose is pretty good. Not too much time, to be honest, in between now and Austria. Austria, I found it to be a pretty decent track. I'd say it's one of the tracks that I have the most practice on, even though I haven't particularly been going for practice there, but of course we'll have to see.
As we continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
So yeah, he's basically already just said what I've just done there, so not too sure what that was about. I don't know why he had to say that again, but R&D tree here then. it's a tough one. Drag reduction, when will this come in? This will come in just after Britain. So Hungarian, yeah, drag reduction for Hungarian isn't too big there. A major downforce for the front or rear wing would be pretty good here, or at Hungary. Let's have a look at the engine power though. Yeah, again, it's a tough one because I don't know, like the tire wear thing would be fairly decent just throughout, and it's very cheap, so I could probably, in fact I think I could buy both. Oh no, I can't because I haven't upgraded my facilities enough yet, but you know what, we'll go for the major one there just before the Hungarian Grand Prix, hopefully. And so that'll come in 26th of July then. We've got another upgrade that will be coming in for Britain, which is the next race weekend. That should that video will be hopefully coming out within the next week or so. But yeah, as I said before, Austria, obviously the shortest track on the calendar. So let's go set in some fast lap times. I'm going to do practice, then I'll see you at the other side at qualifying. So this is kind of just proof at how we actually need to bump up the AI difficulty even more than I expected, because I've just got into first in the practice program, and in the practice program it said that I'd come third, so that was definitely the time to bump up the difficulty again. We've got some more points in the bag though, some R&D points there and some team acclaim, but this is proof that I'm bumping it up then. So we did bump it up to 85 last time, but we're going to 90 for master, so I'm hoping that this will make it a bit more even and where we should be, rather than where we are now, which is just completely wrong to where our car should be. I mean, we're in the first season and we already got a podium and a 4th place twice in a row, so yeah, definitely time to change. Practice was obviously pretty good. It was kind of standard stuff, I suppose, not too much to talk about. My only concern about this race is our engine, because it's getting really worn now. Not the parts that we put in for France though, of course, but I mean the parts before that, that we did in about Spainish time, I think. So we're probably going to change them after Britain, which I think is also when our gearbox changes as well. So I reckon that's what we're going to have to do there. First lap though, we're down in P15 after all the cars have crossed the line. So I decided to do another flying lap, because 15th, although we did bump up the difficulty, I didn't feel like it was as good, and when we're on track it's down to P16, so I wanted to improve just a little bit to give us a bit more of a fighting chance to get points. So that opening part to the lap was fairly clean there. Turn 1 also fairly clean as well. And by the end of this lap we found about 0.2 of a second or so. Through this last corner then, and we lose a bit there, so down to -190 there as we cross the line up into P15, but I still wasn't happy with that, so I went out again near the end of qualifying, which is why it's really cloudy, and we go for another lap then, lap number 3, and already we're losing time at the start, so I wasn't too anticipating a great lap, but as we come to a close at this one, we gain a lot of time through this last sector here, and the number just keeps rising, and where will we be starting? We'll be starting in P13, so I think that is about where we should be in terms of AI difficulty, and where our car should be as well. So happy about that. And it's going to be looking like a tasty midfield race this time. But we'll have to have a see whether the race will be good. Of course, in Austria, when we visited it earlier this year, gave us a lot of action, so can that action be catapulted into our race as well? We'll have to see. But before we head into the race, Claire's got a couple of questions for us. So I didn't know how to respond to this really, because obviously it's not as good as we were, but we bumped the difficulty, so. And didn't really want to disrespect Mercedes, just went with the right option.
Appreciate your time.
So there you have it then, and race is here. Apparently it's going to be sunny and cloudy throughout the race, and yeah, so proof there that our parts are falling away. I really wanted them to have a good length, like they should last 7 races, but they're just not, and that's really quite a shame, and it's going to affect us in the race. So let's hope that we can do a good race this time.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. The grandstands were a sea of red in 2019 thanks to the commemorative hats in honour of the late great Niki Lauda, who took home victory of course back in 1984. And it's a sellout crowd once again here today. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Alexander Albon, and Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz, Stroll, and Lando Norris. Gasly, Blue, Esteban Ocon, and Vettel, Grosjean, Magnussen, Daniel Kvyat, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Russell, Correa, and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So there you go then.
Continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Up into 12th this time then, after the penalty that Sebastian Vettel suffered. Strategy looks normal here. We've got a one stop, soft and medium. They are on the same length, but that kind of makes sense because you're allowed to you have to use 2 different tyres in a race. But here we go then. As we go to 5 red lights here at Austria, and we're underway, and it's a pretty good start for us. We go round the inside of Norris there, get past Sainz and Stroll. We make a bit of contact with Stroll though, and now we're almost 3 wide here as we go down this very long straight. Stroll keeping a good job at staying with us, but we make a little bit more contact with Stroll, but we're through there and we squeeze him out a bit. Sainz gets a nice rundown and is able to overtake Stroll there. So Sainz having it's an alright start for him, I suppose. But we're up into P8 from P12, so 4 positions gained on this opening lap. That's I'd say that's quite good. But yeah, this of course the circuit is a bit shorter than most, so it's got 18 laps this time. And let's have a look at that opening ones. We go a bit wide through that corner there, and Bottas sets the fastest lap, but Leclerc goes really defensive against one of the Red Bulls. I can't really tell which one. And we have a bit of drama of our own with Stroll and Sainz there, and the gap already did start to build when we're in Master with Perez, which I suppose makes a little bit of sense, but of course Stroll gets overtaken there by Sainz, and that was the opening lap there. On to lap 2 now then, coming round to turn 3, not turn 2. There is a small corner which you take flat out, but just gone through turn 3, turn 4 here then, and it's pretty clean for turn 4. I'm not too great at turn 4 and turn 5. This was turn 5, by the way. Especially on the exit of turn 5 and turn 4, as I just can't get him nailed down really. So perhaps a little bit of practice needed there for the next time we visit this circuit, if I ever do get to there. At this rate, probably won't, but you know, we've got hope. I think we should be able to get there. But on to lap 3 now then. Sainz still applying the pressure, and Perez extending his gap all the way up then. And that's going to be terrible for Leclerc then and the Ferraris, as Vettel obviously had that penalty. We go wide here, and we've gone for a spin. Sainz has hit us. We're reversing back, almost hit Stroll, but Stroll's had an engine problem, and yet, as guessed, Stroll gets the safety car out for us, as well as me as well a bit. Now the tyres aren't too fresh anymore. As we now try and catch up to the safety car. There is the safety car letting us pass. I don't think I've ever overtaken a safety car before, so that was a bit new for me. But yeah, time to catch up to the safety car. Don't worry, I won't bore you with having a look at us go through the safety car, but this was how it's caused then. So round turn 4 then, and do go a little bit wide, leaving Sainz a good amount of room there then. And then turn 5, I don't know what happened. I just like got on the gravel, and that was that done, and we spin, and then Stroll just gets smoke from the back of his car out of nowhere, and that's him out. And luckily for us, no positions lost there really, but it was quite close. This is it from Sainz's point of view then. So we did block the door a little bit, but that didn't really cause a collision there. We just caught the grass a bit there, went wide, and collected him there, and then our back end hit his rear left tyre there, sent him for a bit of a small spin there. This was Stroll's point of view then. Stroll pretty much had the popcorn out until he had an engine failure, of course. But yeah, we just go so wide, collect Sainz there. He gets hit at the back, and Stroll did a good job to avoid there, but unfortunately his engine went off again. I think that I don't know, it's Stroll's engine's having real difficulties, because I think he's had like three times a engine failure. I may be wrong, but yeah, this was it from Pierre Gasly. Wow, that was really close to Stroll, isn't it? And it cuts back to us because Gasly ghosted there. But yeah, a hectic race starts this race then, and now we've caught up with the safety car on lap 5, I believe. And we're stuck behind Albon here in P7. So we did, I think we made an overtake. Yes, because Sainz went into the pits, didn't he? And I think Perez actually gained from this safety car, as well as Daniel Ricciardo. But we go racing again, and I'm very slow off the bat here. And now Albon just starts to race away. The new strategy probably would be fairly beneficial, but I decided against it because our tyres are like shot. If we didn't have the spin, I would have definitely went for lap 11 pit stop. But yeah, Gasly starting to apply pressure already, and Albon starts to escape from our grasp really. As now Gasly decides he'd like to have a go, as he goes round the outside, or he tries to. We late brake, push him out a bit, and he couldn't get the job done there. And as you may have heard from Jeff, our engine is starting to have some failures, and we may have to retire, he said. So we're gonna have to be quite cautious when we go to Britain, and just hope that our engine can survive that long, survive that race, I suppose, and then perhaps we'll change it. But there was the attempt from Gasly there, and of course our pit stop says lap 9, and so in we go on lap 9. Catch a bit of the grass there, but nothing too major there. as now we go down the pit lane straight onto a set of mediums. So well, I suppose it's a pretty decent tyre, should hopefully last the whole time without having any tyre wear issues. But of course out we go then from our pit stop all the way at the back of the pack, but of course not many people have made their pit stops just yet. Vettel is close behind though, so he could have a bit of trouble with us perhaps later on in the race. But on to lap 11 now this is then, and look who's just beside us in the pit lane. It's only Albon, and so out he goes off this pit lane. It's a fight as soon as he's out of the pits then. He's on a slightly more fresher set of rubber, but I'm not going to give up the position. He tries to defend the inside. We make a massive dive bomb on the inside though, and we can slow down the car just in time for us to get the move there. So that was definitely a great move against Albon there. We'll have to see if he can come back at us again. He is in the Red Bull, so he will be a bit faster, but yeah, he kind of squeezes. We try and squeeze him a bit. He pushes us a little bit off track and gets the racing line tucked in there, and so we can't really couldn't really go against him there. And for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking, but I went really aggressive into the inside of the corner there to try and overtake him, and then he just benefits from that. So I don't know what I was thinking there. But yeah, here it is again then, and so our guys did a really good job at almost overtaking him from the pit stop there then. And that dive bomb once again, that was clean and pristine, but unfortunately, as we find out later on in this lap, it's just not to last. As we actually take that turn 4 exit quite cleanly. I think just Albon had better traction there and squeezes us off road, and he gets the overtake done. There was nothing really I could do to defend there if you squeezed off. I don't know why I did that. There were a few mistakes in this race, and it was definitely really tiring for me after. I didn't just edit this video straight after like usual, but Vettel comes in from nowhere then on lap is that, I think that's 12 or 13. My screen's really small. Oh, it's 13, yeah. But we make the overtake back again, almost a little bit of a switch back against Vettel there. So here's the replay of it then. So we get the inside and get better traction, as well as DRS there as well, and sail on past him. But yeah, ERS isn't looking too great here. Fuel's looking fine. I'm not worried about fuel at all, as we go into lap 14, so 4 laps left, and Jeff obviously said 5 laps of fuel remaining just there. But we go very wide because I thought that Vettel wasn't going to leave me too much room there. Eventually he did though, so a little perhaps frowned upon overtake there, as we technically weren't on track, but Vettel sticks his nose in there. Perhaps he would like to overtake us quite quickly here, He tries to do that down the inside. That's what I was going to try and do against Albon, but just like Vettel's attempt, it fails there, but no need to worry because he tries to go round the outside of us. We take the inside line, squeeze him out, and now Raikkonen and Ocon decide to join the party, and now Raikkonen overtakes Vettel there, so he must have had some sort of mistake or something, but yeah, Raikkonen ahead of Vettel then, so I suppose perhaps the patch came early then, patch for Ferrari of course, because they're supposed to, well, they're not particularly doing too well in the real world of F1, but yeah, this was how the move was done, or I suppose it wasn't really a move, but like a showing of how all the cars are now bunched up here then, and Raikkonen gets a move done on Vettel there, so looking for a tasty couple end laps. This is lap 17 then, or the end of it anyway, onto lap 18, so the last lap then, and Raikkonen decides that he'd like to have a go. He tries to go for the inside, we squeeze him out a little bit, still fair and square though, and then he can't quite get the run down onto us, or can he, as he tries to go down the inside. No contact made, but Vettel and Raikkonen do have a little bit of contact there, and that just leaves me to try and zoom away as quickly as possible. This was starting to get quite old because it was constantly lap after lap that they were close to overtaking, and as Jeff just said, we could have had some rain here, which I would have definitely accepted and liked, but unfortunately the rain doesn't come in time. It's P11 for us, so not a points paying position, but somehow Grosjean and Magnussen were able to cross the line in the points, so Haas had a good day, we perhaps didn't, but that's the end of Austria then, and onto Britain, which hopefully should be a bit of a better track with a bit more luck, but we'll have to see.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here at Austria, and a truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So they have it then, and we do get our first level up of this series. I haven't actually played F1 since the last video, which meant that I haven't really got up to date with the series, but I saw what's in it and it looks quite good, but I don't have enough coins for it just yet. And I don't really like to spend real money to get them, but I'm still able to get, I should be able to get the pass, and then I can chain all of the challenges hopefully and get perhaps the end of this one, as long as there's no difficulties with challenges there. But anyway, enough about the podium pass. On to this race then, and yeah, it was terrible for Lando Norris there, down into P17, and a great day for Haas then, as both of their drivers are in the top 10. So they've obviously had a nice race there. Me, not so much, but that was kind of expected. This was Raikkonen's try at us, and there was the contact made by Vettel and Raikkonen there, so there was the battle there. Vettel, I believe, won. I think he won in the end. Or no, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was Vettel. Yeah, so Vettel won that battle there, but we'll advance forward only to meet Claire once again.
We all underestimated you, didn't we?
I don't know. Did you? I mean, I got a podium and a 4th place in a row. So and then I had the bumping of difficulty, and then so yeah.
Formula 1 today, wasn't it?
Not well. If you mean the safety car, then yes, it was. It was a bit iffy here and there, but I wasn't perfect. I mean, I ran wide a couple of times there. I'm not a perfect driver, so I'll admit that at least.
Well, that's everything.
So yeah, that is everything. Rivalries come down a little bit now to 16 to 12. Of course, since I bumped Daniel Ricciardo, well, the AI difficulty, we're close to Team Clean 8 there. But yeah, we didn't meet the sponsor's goal, unfortunately. We were close-ish, but not quite. 8.2 million in the bank though. That should hopefully give us a good amount of money for, of course, next episode, the big one. This is my home GP, the time we get a renewal sponsor apparently now, and a new driver as well. So let's hope that we can get all of them things ticked off the list. Our engine is just looking terrible. It's frustrating because we're not going to perform as good if our engine isn't up to scratch, which really annoys me a bit there. But you know, we've got the contract period, so we'll get a new driver and hopefully they can do some good here. We're renewing the sponsor, so we'll have to see whether I stick with that one or if I find a better one. And also Great Britain home GP. That also means that I have a special livery ready for it as well, which is great because it's also going to be one that I then use later on. I was thinking about saving this until later on to show you guys, like when I actually will use it, but I decided not to. Here's just proof that I can't buy the podium pass. It's 9,000, I have 8,500, and the next tier that you get money in the free pass is 2013, which is 2,500. But here is our new livery for the meantime and for the British GP, most importantly. This livery is so great because it shows where our team came from, and it has a really detailed halo, which is great because we're going to be using this that camera all the time, so we're going to have to see it quite a bit there as well. Sponsors are a little bit hard because of the colours, but I'm sure we'll find a way around it. But of course, though, if you did enjoy, be sure to hit the like button. If you enjoy all my F1 content and you're happy for this new livery, go ahead and hit the subscribe button by going the extra mile or the extra victory lap. Comment on anything you enjoyed in this video. But until then, this has been Chief Dog 74. I'll see you next time.